And the first one I thought we'd talk about is you have to write every single solitary day. Do you write every solitary day?
I do not. I didn't write today at all, unless you count putting my newsletter together and emails that I had to catch up on. Otherwise, I didn't even look at my story.
I think today was I usually do try to write every day, but that's just because it's with my crazy schedule, it's easier for me to do smaller chunks to fit those into
Sure.
my day. But I do know authors who uh, don't. They tend to prefer writing in really big chunks. Are you a big chunk writer, or are you kind of like, how do you?
I wasn't a big chunk writer. I used to sit down and I try to do a word count. I've been writing full time for about a year and a half now, close to a year and a half. And one of the things I promised my husband when I went full time that I would take Saturdays and Sundays off, because he said, otherwise, all I ever see is the back of your head. You're always on the computer and you're doing things, or you're on your phone and you're doing things, which he understands why. But I had a problem with, if I didn't have anything to do, I knew I had so many book things to do that I would sit down and do them. And he said, then I never feel like, he said, even if I'm sitting in the same room with you, I look over to say something and there you are typing away. And so I'm afraid to interrupt you and I don't know what I should do. So he said, can we have a time and a day or two where I know that I'll make plans to do something this day. So because of that, I'd set word counts that I tried to stick with, which were like 2,000, 2,500 words a day, and then no Saturdays and no Sundays. But just recently we were on vacation, and what I had told myself was, even though we were going to be gone for almost 3 weeks, if I wrote at least 1,000 words a day, I would hit my deadline for my editor. And the first week came and went, and the second week came and went, and most of the third week came and went, and Patty didn't write anything. So when we got home, I had 8 days to get my book out to my editor. So I sat down and I wrote like my hair was on fire, and I wrote
bet you did
every day, and I met my deadline. But what I found out is I like that better.
Really?
Because I stayed fresher in the story. It was like, oh, okay. So I may change my approach.
Yeah, we one of our other our regular hosts, Tina Moss, she is she has to have a hard deadline. Like she just it doesn't work for her to write a little bit every day. She would much rather spend like 3 weeks locked in her room essentially and just write for like 5-6 hours a day. That would drive me nuts. But again, every writer is different because it's such a creative process. I think personally, because of mine, we're going to kind of talk about one of the other myths that will go along with this, but because I am a pantser, it takes a lot of mental energy for me to write, because I'm literally coming up with a story on the fly.
Sure.
And so when I do that, because I do that, 1,000 words, 1,500 words is a lot for me to get in a day, because I really am thinking that story, every little detail through. So yeah, it is fun. Do you know a lot of people who do that, who write every day, or?
I don't know. Everybody, like you said, everybody has their process. And I don't know that I've ever had the discussion really with, I've got a group that I plot with. We don't talk about, like, do you have to write every single day? We all kind of have our process, and I never want to make anyone feel guilty about their process, because it wouldn't work for me doesn't mean it doesn't work for them.